This is Tom. I was asking. The pictures that you showed, I wasn't in the video that you are shooting. I'm asking, did you feather your light while shooting some of the pictures, and why did you? The second question is, why did you choose to use the beauty dish rather than continue with the? I don't know if it was an umbrella or a modifier.
An umbrella is a modifier. Any uh, anything that you put in front of your light, literally anything that you put in light that enables change the effect of the light should be modified, a light modifier. So even if you're working with light and you put a sheet of paper in front of that light source, you have modified the effect of the light. So an umbrella, a beauty dish, an octabox, a soft box, whatever it is, they are all light modifiers. Or if you want to be more technical, you can say that they are light shapers because they have different shapes of light and they create different effects. Is there any modifier that is better than the other? No. They all have their own specific use. And today we saw that because let me see if I can show you why I switched to the beauty dish real quick. So pay attention to let me see. Oh, I don't know if those pictures are here. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, they should be here. Okay. One second. Good, fantastic. So can you guys see these pictures? Can you see this picture?
Yes, we can see.
Yes,
yes.
So, Mr. Tom, when you look at this picture, you see that first of all, I'm looking at my light rays and I'm trying to expose for my light rays and at least just get my shot with the light rays. In this image, I have not introduced any main light. I have only introduced my backlight here, and I'm also shooting for my light rays. And obviously my image is underexposed because there is no direct source of light, maybe like here. You understand? Here I was using a big modifier coming from my left-hand side that is illuminating my subject. And I changed my position because here I was working on the background. I fell in love with the light rays and decided to move towards where the rays of light is. And my next exposure was to use the same modifier that I've used here. So everybody please pay attention to this. There's a modifier to my left that I'm using in this image. So for those of you that were not watching the live video, so I have that big modifier is to the left here, and just like Tom said, I'm feathering that light as my main light source, and then I'm using a smaller light source without any big modifier. Now I've left this place and I've come here, and the first thing that I want to do, which is something that I've covered in my Sony Alpha Universe page in one of the webinars where we're talking about creating with ambient light and strobe. The first thing that you want to learn is to get the exposure of your ambience first. So create the ambience first. It may not necessarily be your best picture, but you want to know what your ambient is to look like. By the time you can determine what your ambience is looking like, in this case, I'm talking about my light rays and the general light that is falling behind my subject, then I can now introduce my light source. At the time that I introduce my light source, can you people look at this picture and tell me something that is off in this image? Can somebody just say, I have the answer?
I have the answer.
The strobe light is a bit killing the window light, so it's making it less visible.
Fantastic. So I generally prefer this image to this image. And in this image, I have looked at this image and I've said to myself, well, this strobe light is too much. It's killing my ambience. I tried it again and I'm like, well, I like this picture, but I cannot see the ambience. And the whole idea of coming here is to be able to capture the ambience. I tried it again for the third time and it's still killing the ambience. I could spend some time with that strobe light and position it in such a way that it would not kill my ambience. But I was already in a frustrated place and I didn't want to start testing myself. We could do that with even the big modifier. So I tried it again. The strobe light is still here, but all that hard work is lost because we can no longer see the light rays from the window. You understand? Now I'm trying to expose for the smoke. I'm showing you these images so that you see that getting it right from the in the camera is a process. You see how we've walked from here. Watch how we've come from here, we've gone here, we're looking at these images, we're looking at things that we want to change. And like, do you know what? I don't even want any light. Let me start creating my images without light. So this image was done without any main light. So you guys already fell in love with this picture. You're like, oh, Biggie, this picture is nice. This picture wasn't shot with light. Now, what I was doing is, this is how I want my ambient to look. This is my ambient light. I want my final picture to have these rays. I want my final picture to have this light behind to cause some sort of separation from the background. You understand? I want my final picture to have all of this here. And I've shot again without light. And now I've changed my light modifier. If I introduce my big light source here, it is going to kill my ambience. It's going to wash down everything. And that's usually what separates somebody who wants to be a master in their lighting and somebody who is still an amateur. It is knowing when to use what. It's not just, oh God, please bless me with that big edge modifier that is big. It's also knowing when to use it and when not to use it. So you've clearly seen that from these examples, that modifier is not what I needed to create the portrait that I wanted to create. So now we've moved and we've introduced a beauty dish, a smaller modifier, a lot more controlled. You can still see your ambience here, you understand? And you can see the light that is falling on her. Now, what is left for you to do is to now start making adjustments in the lighting to see how it's able to match here. Now, when you look at this and you look at this, the ambience has not changed. The ambience is the same. The only thing that has changed is the light that is falling on the subject. And the light that is falling on my subject is a lot more controlled and a lot more directional. And that's exactly what you would need in situations like this, okay? So we tried different things, do you understand? And, you know, some worked, some didn't work. That's what is going to happen when you keep practicing. For me, beyond me just shooting, this was both a shoot and a practice session. And I think that, you know, I want to pay attention to this picture. There is no ray because we needed smoke to give character to the light ray. So we introduce smoke here, and then after a while, you can now see the rays. So don't just go to any window and say, oh, Biggie says when the sun is about to set, I'm going to see some light rays. No, there has to be some form of smoke, some form of particles, even if it's your shore spray, even if it's perfume, something, once you spray it into the atmosphere, it's going to be able to capture these things as rays. Yes, so that's pretty much how we created this picture. I can bet you that when you do see the final image, you're not going to see anything different from what you've seen here. If I decide that is a fine art picture and maybe I want to put one bird flying from here, that's going to be a personal decision. I don't think I'm going to do any of that. I'm just going to focus on the color and then focus on the skin work. And that's, voila, that's it. Do you understand? The next picture that I'm looking at now is this guy. I really, 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 really love this, this image. So Mr. Tom, does that answer your question?